Um, I'm sorry if I'm always thinking I'm actually trapped at home, because I think I've got quite a chest infection, but obviously it's something else. So I'm kind of trapped at home, um, and so bored. So we have 2 weeks until April, in April apparently, the New World closed beta for it goes out. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm sorry that I've had so many random things on my channel lately. Oh, I will explain more about that in a video. But for now, we're going to play Little Names with Edith Finch, which is just one of many random games that I've bought on here. Keeping entertained, probably going to play over next week. So, let's get to start.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
It feels really weird playing a game during the day. I mean, it's even harder to see.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
I like the look of this game. Quite nice. Pretty and very atmospheric.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Wow, it looks like nobody's been here for 7 years.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh look, the letters all broke and fell all over the floor. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I like that. Nice little touch. Yeah, it's just harder to see when it's bright as well.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Maybe it's one of those rooms.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
When it's dark at night, it's so much easier to see the screen. It's just like the brightness perspective. I know this wasn't the main way, but we can go down here so I'm having a little explore. I'm kind of lost, honestly.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
I don't know if this game is supposed to be a horror or not, but there's definitely something pretty eerie about it. I can't go that way.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent, as if they're about to say something but never do.
I was going to say, I'm not sure I'm even following the path anymore, but there's something out there. So it doesn't mean it's the house. Jamie missing 30 paces. Maybe that's his brother Eli. Is that the house? Because if so, that is a really cool house.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
It's an amazing house. Look how cool it is. It's just like so weird and unique. I like it. I really like that house. It's just so cool, look at it. Even the boat over there is weird. I just can't get over it. Looking forward to going outside. Unless it's terrifying.
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Well, that's very creepy. Okay. I take it we can't go in the garage.
I heard something moving around in the garage.
Oh, the door ran here. I don't know if I like this. What the hell?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Okay, well there was something moving around in here. It doesn't look like it's been abandoned for that long. Like, everything looks pretty clean in here, really. Thinking about that, like, you'd think everything would be covered in dust and cobwebs. But it's not really. If I heard something moving around in the garage, I would be like, fuck that.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years,
Well, I suppose there's nothing else to do, does it, if there's anything in here?
I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
But a little while ago she was like, I'm terrified of the house, and now she's saying it feels like home.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Which is still there. Like, it just doesn't seem like all this stuff. Ugh. Don't like it, don't like it. I in loving memory of Edith Finch. Loving brother to Edith, son of Dawn. Great grandson to Edie. I don't know if I want to carry on because I keep hearing noises and it's kind of freaking me out.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
It's just so creaky in this place, man.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Oh, this is nice. Nice little room. I just stay in here.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
I love how the letters on it there. It's just so cool, this game. I just love the way it is, like the way it feels, and just how it's done. It's just nice. I like it. I don't like these noises though. Oof, no, we don't want to go in the basement, do we? Always creepy in the basement. I'm not quite sure what let's do. Oh. I hope this isn't a music box.
Great-Grandpa
Oh,
Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
That's just creepy. I don't want to listen to that. Oh lord. Okay, I'm just going to stare at it until it finishes. I mean, it's kind of cute, but yeah, music boxes are always kind of creepy, aren't they? Good, it stopped. I'm going to carry on looking down here before we
A
go
lot
to
of
the
things
basement.
got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
I'm kind of wondering why they all just ran out of the house. Like, that seems creepy to me.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Milton? That's not the same brother, is it? Wait there. No, Lewis was her other brother. I don't like it. So she has another brother that's missing. I love all the books stacked around the door frame like that. That's pretty cool.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Nice, that sounds nice. How do we get out of this though? Oh, there we go. I can still faintly hear those flies in the kitchen. Okay, we can go up or we can go down. Judging by the outside of the house, there is a lot of up in this house, so I think we'll go down. Okay, I just realised when you pause it, there's like a family tree here, which is pretty cool. Oh! Milton, the brother, 1992 to 2003. So yeah, they're all dead. I'm like the only person in my family that's alive. Shit. Okay.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Okay, we can't go in the basement yet. There's probably something awful in there that we'll have to have a look at. at the end of the game, I'm guessing. They like their books. They're like everywhere. I love it though.
After Milton disappeared,
Everywhere.
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Oh. Creepy. What?
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
I don't quite understand where the blue light's coming from. It's pretty cool though.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Ooh! Found a use for the key.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Ooh.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
There is a secret passage. This is
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
It's weird. It's like a weird little tiny secret bedroom. Like a kid was in here.
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly. Because the lighting's funny, because basically it's so bright in my house right now, the sun's shining and it's reflecting off of my TV screen. That looked like a skull for a second then.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
That's very cute.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Just weird. There's like a map there, look. Of all the bedrooms, Molly. Why is Molly's room all locked away though? Very creepy.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Okay, so now I'm playing a little kid.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Shit.
My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
I kept eating and eating.
And toothpaste. Great.
lot of things that night. Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
No.
I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Oh, I'm a cat. I'm not quite sure what to do as a cat. What am I supposed to do? I can jump.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Where's it gone? It's really not easy for me to see right now. This is why we play games.
I jumped and I almost got her.
That's why we play games at night.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
You know.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
This is brute.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
This is brutal. Okay.
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
What? Shit. I don't know what we're supposed to do as a shark. Jump.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
I'm just like murdering things like animals. Okay, there's something over here.
so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
So I'm gonna go and eat people.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
This is just like really not easy. Like when I go here, it's kind of facing that way, but then when I go back, it's going
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Belly was rusty, razor, belly was rusty, his belly was rusty, razor, in the drunken sailor, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? And the captain's daughter, put him in bed with the captain's daughter, put him in bed with the captain's daughter. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
Passenger, I was
that
still
was so
hungry.
hard to control.
And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
I'm really struggling to
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
there's not much I can really do about the light in here. But on the pause screen, I just noted Molly died in 1947, age 10. So I'm just gonna have to try and deal with not being able to see it very well. Oh, look, it's light over here. I can see that. Oh god, like it's just not easy.
I got closer and closer. All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Oh lord. So the monster is real? I don't know. But I didn't like that. Okay.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Yeah. I mean, it could be her imagination. It's still creepy as hell though.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Can you look under the bed? I mean, look at that toy. That looks just like the monster. So I'm guessing that was her imagination. There probably was something creepy going on though. Yeah, it's not very nice that her parents locked her up, is it? Can't leave through the door. I'm not sure there's anything else here in Molly's room. We can open the door. Window rather. Oh, we're out here.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
So this is
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
no, that must have been her husband. That's pretty sad.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Nah. 72-year-old woman refuses to evacuate because of a little forest.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
No, bless her.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Her room was like a museum.
Why is everyone dying?
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Shit, so they have like a curse. Maybe they shouldn't be getting married and having children then. Just let the curse die.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
So yeah, I guess there's a...
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Okay, so there's like a curse. This is a very fluffy bathroom.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
There's a secret in the bathroom.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
There's loads of weird little passages in this house. Milton. Isn't that brother again?
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Calvin, 1950 to 1961. So he's the twin brother's grandpa.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
We're trying to go around.
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
So that's how you fly on a swing. Is that even possible?
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
I don't know if it's actually possible though, is it? I don't know.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
You can kind of tell he was a bit obsessed with the army. Oh, okay. Looks like another secret doorway. I don't know if it's just full of fish. Maybe fish.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
But there's wine down here. There's also another way here. Let's go down here first. Oof. Should we look in this room first?
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
So she was like an actress?
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Who is Barbara? Even in this room, there's just books everywhere. Kind of cool.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
So did everyone die when they were a child?
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. Wow. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
Do you think we're gonna get into the basement and die?
She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Creepy. Oh dear! Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb,
His
have
crutch.
you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay,
The little
I'm
brother.
coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Can we go in this room now? No.
radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And whoever he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Like your Molly's room. The window.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
There we go. Sorry, my dogs are being absolute assholes.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. It wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. Vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
You were wonderful. The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time.
Oh,
They took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Ooh.
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
I knew there was something creepy about that bloody music box. Okay. Nice.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Lovely. They've left everything in these rooms. like even her cake is here. Birthday cake, which is like all moldy. Okay, so that's Barbara's room. There was another room down here.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Ears. Okay. So there's the peephole.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Okay, we'll follow this.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left. It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Yeah, maybe that's what we need to do. Okay, we're back here, so let's do that then, I suppose. Going into the basement. Hopefully there's no crazy mole man down there. Here we go. It's weird how it's there because, like, you put it back in there? I don't know, because she left it in the door and then her boyfriend went down there. He must have put the key back. It's actually nice and bright down here compared to the rest of the house.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Much to look at down here. Now we get into the dark bit.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
I'm struggling to actually see.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Yes, playing games in the daytime. Bad idea. Oh look, here we go. There's something here.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
So he was living down here, and that's why the old lady was bringing packages down here. Like,
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
how bizarre. So yeah, he was like, Walter was living like in a secret passage in the basement. He's even got like food and everything down here. He was an old man.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
Shit. Why didn't he just leave? Why did he have to stay in the basement?
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
Like, if you run away, I feel like it's probably a better idea to go somewhere else and not...
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just
2005?
stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Whatever it is, man, if there's a monster living here, you probably should have got as far away as possible, not just going to live place.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Good. About time, Walter. Why have they got so many tunnels underneath their house? It's kind of odd, isn't it? Even down here, there's books everywhere.
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Oh, Walter.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Yeah.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.